أعوذ بالله ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به وأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله تعالى وخير الهدى هدى محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. As we explained yesterday, Ikhwan, we're going to continue in our discussion about the mawqif of the Muslim in the time of the Fitnah. And we discussed some of the wasaya or the nasiha that the Prophet gave sallallahu alaihi wasallam to practice and apply if you find yourself in the time of the Fitnah. And as we mentioned yesterday, we said that the brother Abu Dawood, he had asked us to discuss about the issue of the battle of Siffin, the battle that took place between Ali ibn Abi Talib and Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma. So what we want to do inshallah is to begin to study together some of these issues, these historical events that are filled with a lot of information and a lot of knowledge for the Minhaj al-Salafi, explaining the Minhaj al-Salafi, how a person can take these examples and these incidents to save himself from being of the people who are halikeen during the time of the fitnah. But before we make the hold in this issue and we begin to talk about this issue, we have to just say very clearly and very briefly that it is from the Minhaj al-Salafi and the aqidah of the true Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah that when it comes to discussing the issues of the fitna that took place between the ashab of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa radiyallahu anhum, we should always remember, ikhwan, that we have to be careful as Muslims in talking about this issue, because these issues in and of themselves, they do not get us closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala zulfa. This isn't a way that we can get a taqarrub in Allah by mentioning what happened between them. Ma shajara bainahum. Yeah, we say that all of them were mujtahidun, and the ones who were right will get a double reward, and the ones who were wrong will get one reward, as is going to be clearly established insha'Allah ta'ala in the upcoming lesson. So, as Al-Imam al-Shafi'i said, rahmatullahi alayhi, when he talked about his madhab, and he said, إذا صح الحديث فهو مذهبي في حياتي أو بعد مماتي. If the hadith is authentic, it is my madhab in my life and after my death. So he went on to further illustrate and explain that statement when he said, if I take a position and you find that the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is contradictory to it, then take my position and throw it against the wall. He said, for verily I am returning from my position which was wrong in my life and in my death. So if you know that Al-Imam al-Shafi'i rahimahullah ta'ala was of the opinion, for an example, if a man said to his wife in one setting, Anti taliq, Anti taliq, Anti taliq, he says, you are divorced. I divorced you 3 times. And Imam al-Shafi'i and all of the rest of the Imams, the 4 A'imma, were of the opinion that this serves as the divorce that is final, khalas, 3 times in one sitting. Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala came after that and explained how that doesn't count except for one divorce. Anyway, we know that this is the position of Al-Imam al-Shafi'i. So when I'm giving a talk or when you're discussing something, you can say it was Al-Imam al-Shafi'i's position that 3 divorces only equal 1. Even though you know that he had the other position. What allows you to say that his position is 3 equals 1? The fact that he said, my madhab is the hadith if it's authentic, whether it's in my life or my death. أنا راجع عنه يعني عن قولي في حياتي ومماتي. So based upon that statement of Al-Imam al-Shafi'i that I hope was and is understood, I want to say here, if anything is said while we're talking about what happened between the companions, and someone can take my statement because I didn't cross a T or I didn't put a dot where it belongs, it could be understood that I'm saying something negative, either because I'm talking too quickly and I'm not concentrating. I want to say if anything comes off like that, wallahi, we make tawbah to Allah tabarak wa ta'ala before it even happens. Don't take my statement if it happens and carry them on the worst possibility. Fahimtumuni? That's the first point, ikhwan. Concerning the battle of Siffin, in the year 36 after the Hijrah, Uthman ibn Affan radiyallahu ta'ala anhu was assassinated unjustly. Zu al-Nurayn الذي زوجه النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لبنتيه. Now, I'm saying, in the year 36, Uthman ibn Affan was murdered. And then the Muslims gave the bay'ah to Ali ibn Abi Talib radiyallahu anhu. So when Ali radiyallahu anhu was the Khalifa, the fitnah began. During the fitnah, ikhwan, Ali received the bay'ah from the whole Islamic empire with the exception of the people in Ash-Sham, Greater Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, that whole area over there, Palestine. During the Khilafah of Uthman ibn Affan, the governor of Ash-Sham was Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. And Muawiyah was a relative of Uthman. So when Uthman was assassinated, and there were a lot of series of events that had took place in that, they had barricaded him inside of his home for some time. A lot of fitnah. So when he was ultimately assassinated, ikhwan, Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, his opinion and his understanding was, I am the governor who has given the bay'ah to Uthman. So in technicality, I am still responsible and answerable to Uthman. And I'm not answerable to anyone else. Ali cannot take the bay'ah until we do away with this issue of the killers, the assassinators of Uthman. Ali was not against Muawiyah, nor was Muawiyah against Ali. He just felt, radiyallahu anhu, that the killers of Uthman have to be dealt with. After which time, that's when the bay'ah should be given. And that's when I'll follow the Khalifa of the Muslims if I'm not chosen to be him. Ali radiallahu anhu was saying, no, I am the Khalifa. And the dalil on that is that the companions who are in argument in their numbers and in their positions, the overwhelming majority of them have given me the bay'ah. So therefore, ya Muawiyah alayka an tanqad ila ma fa'alahu ashabu Rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So Muawiyah, you have to get with the program. So we can see how both sides had a wajhatun nazar, a point of view. Ali radiallahu anhu was saying, I'm going to deal with the assassinators of Uthman. But first things first, everyone give me the bay'ah, and I am going to be the unchallenged, undisputed Khalifa of the world. After which time I made the tanfiz of the awamir of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. By getting the blood paid back for the one who was killed unjustly. So that was their position. Neither side was budging from his position, was budging from his ijtihad. So based upon that, Ali radiallahu anhu declared war against Muawiyah radiallahu anhu and the people of Asham. So he began to set out to go deal with Muawiyah and the people of Asham with the army of Muslims from Medina. On the way to Asham, Ali was confronted with another fitna. Ali had to deal with some tremendous fitnas, ikhwan, that we're going to discuss all of them. So here's the fitna of Muawiyah. But in the fitna of Muawiyah, there came another fitna that he had to deal with before the fitna of Muawiyah. Before he dealt with the fitna of the battle of Siffin, he had to deal with the fitna of the Mawqi'atul Camel, the fitna of the camel, the war of the camel. The news came to Ali radiallahu anhu when he was getting ready to deal with Muawiyah that shocked him. And that was, he heard that our mother, his mother, the wife of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, one of the scholars of the deen at that time, Aisha radiallahu anha, had went to Mecca from Medina to make Hajj. While she was in Mecca, she heard of the news of the assassination of Usamah. She became upset, and from Mecca she began to incite the people, and she said, we have to deal with the murderer. So while she was in Mecca with her was Az-Zubair and Talha ibn Ubaydullah, Az-Zubair ibn Awam and Talha Ubaydullah. So those three were from the Ashraf of Quraysh, and from the ulama of the Sahaba, and from the 10 people who were promised paradise, Az-Zubair and Talha. Ali heard about this news, that not only does he have to deal with Muawiyah, but he has to also deal with Aisha, and the fact that Aisha was about to go up to a place called Al-Basra to get the people to support her to look for the killers of Uthman. Now that's a fitna in and of itself, Muawiyah by himself. On top of that fitna, you have your mother, the wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, coming against you. Not necessarily coming against Ali radiallahu anhu, but coming against his point of view. No, we're not giving the bay'ah. We want the killer. She wasn't with Muawiyah in Muawiyah's call, but she was saying, we want the blood of the people who killed our relative, the Khalifa, the one who married the 2 daughters of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. On top of that fitna, you have 2 of the companions who were promised paradise in her stuff. Maybe you brothers don't know the magnitude of the problem. Who is Talha and who is Az-Zubair? As for Talha, Al-Imam Abu Ya'la rahimahullah ta'ala, he brought an authentic hadith in which a Bedouin Arab came to the masjid of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and this hadith gives us an indication of who Talha was radiyallahu anhu. The Arabi, the Bedouin, he came and he said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, man hum alladhina qada nahbuhum? Tell me, who are the ones that Allah was talking about in Surah Al-Ahzab, ayat number 24, in which Allah said, وَمِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ أو مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ الرِّجَالٌ صَدَقُوا مَا عَاهَدُوا اللَّهَ عَلَيْهِ فَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ قَضَى نَحْبَهُ وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَنْتَظِرُ. From the believers are men who have been truthful to what they have made their contract with Allah. From them are those who have done what they said that they were going to do, meaning making jihad fi sabilillah, and they got the shahada. They died. They got the shahada. And Allah said, and yet there are others who are still waiting for their turn. May Allah make us of those people. There are others who are waiting to go to make the ultimate sacrifice, to make the jihad, and to get the shahada. So the Arabi came and he said, Ya Rasulullah, who was Allah talking about when he said, from the believers are men who are truthful to what they took their contract out with Allah, and from them are those who have done it. The narrator of the hadith, he said that we used to not ask the Prophet a lot of questions, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, out of respect for him and out of fear of him. Meaning al-hayba. Not they were afraid he was going to harm them, but he was the share. So the Messenger of Allah turned away from the Arabi, and he asked the same question 3 times. Each time the Messenger of Allah turned away from him. On the 3rd time, Talha said, at that point I put my head through the masjid. I put my head into the masjid. And the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam saw me when I did that. And then he said sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, أين السائل عمن قضى نحبه؟ فقال الأعرابي ها أنا ذا يا رسول الله. فقال صلى الله عليه وسلم هذا ممن قضى نحبه. The Prophet said, where is the one who questioned and he asked about those who have taken care of their contract? The Arabi said, here I am, I'm him, Ya Rasulullah, here I am. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam pointed to Talha and said, he is from those people who have taken care of this contract. So that hadith clearly shows us the virtues of Talha. And Imam al-Bukhari rahimahullah ta'ala brought a narration in Sahih Bukhari on the authentic way, in the tariqah as-sahihah, on the authority of the tabi'i by the name of Qais ibn Abi Hazim. Qais ibn Abi Hazim, who was from the tabi'in. Qais said in Sahih Bukhari, رأيت يد طلحة التي وقع بها رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قد شلت. Qais ibn Abi Hazim said, and he was from the tabi'in, I saw the hand of Talha that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used. It was used to protect the message of Allah. I saw that hand paralyzed. His hand got paralyzed in the battle of Uhud, when the kuffar started to get the Muslims, and the Muslims had to subsequently retreat up the mountain of Uhud. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was running away, getting away from the kuffar, trying to save his life, to do another strategy of war. He got hit in the process of trying to protect himself. I put his hand up, his hand got hit, and it became paralyzed, fi sabilillah, for the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So here's another clear hadith in which we have Talha defending the sunnah, the real meaning of defending the sunnah. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in the battle of Uhud, he was wearing 2 shields. 2. So when he was running away from the kuffar, as Imam Abu Talha or Abu Ya'la brought in the authentic transmission, he tried to get on top of a rock to get away from them, to start his su'ud up the mountain, to get away, to start elevating up the mountain. But because he had on the 2 shields, the 2 armors of war, he was heavy. So Talha, radiyallahu anhu, got down on his knees, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam stepped on him, and Talha picked him up. The Messenger of Allah got on top of the rock. He said to the people that day and to Talha, أوجب طلحة حين سمع برسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ما سمع. The Prophet said to Talha and about Talha, verily it is wajib for Talha because of what he did for the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What's wajib for him? Paradise is wajib for him. As Zubair ibn Awam, he narrated that last hadith. So all of those are examples, ikhwan, to show you the level of the personality of Talha, who clearly was a fitna for Ali, and that Talha is on the other side. As for Az-Zubair ibn Awam, who was also in Mecca with Aisha and Talha, first of all, Az-Zubair was the husband of Asma, the daughter of Abu Bakr, the woman who went out and took her two girdles and split them and tied up the food of the Prophet and Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu wa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to protect him and to feed him in the days that he was hiding from Quraysh. He's the husband of Asma. His son Abdullah ibn Zubair was the first child that was born in Medina after the Hijrah. Do you think Abu Bakr is going to marry his daughter Asma to a man who wasn't high powered? Jabir ibn Abdullah radiallahu anhu brought us an authentic hadith that's been collected by Imam al-Bukhari wa Muslim, that the Messenger of Allah said on the day of Al-Ahzab, the day that all of the Confederates came against the Messenger of Allah to extinguish the light of Islam, the Prophet said to the companions on this tremendously scary day, he said, "Man ya'ti bi khabar al-qawm," who will get up to go and find out the news of the people? And you all know the hadith of Hudayfa. When the Prophet wanted someone to go, Hudayfa said everyone was afraid. No one wanted to stand up. In this hadith, Jabir ibn Abdullah, he said, when the Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who will bring me the news of those people who have gathered all together to deal with us? One man, who's going to go? Jabir said, that Az-Zubair said, Ana ya Rasulullah, I'll go by myself. The Prophet said it 3 times, hoping that other people would get up and say, we'll go with him as well. Az-Zubair, at each time he kept saying, I'll go, I'll go. After the 3rd time, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Inna li kulli nabiyyin hawariya, wa inna hawariya az-Zubair. Verily every prophet has a hawari, and my hawari is az-Zubair. Every prophet from Adam to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had a hawari, and the hawari is what? A helper, a disciple. وَإِذْ قَالَ عِيسَى بْنُ مَرْيَمَ لِلْحَوَارِيِّينَ مَنْ أَنصَارِي إِلَى اللَّهِ. And when Isa said to his disciples, his hawariyin, who are going to be the helpers to Allah? قَالَ الْحَوَارِيُّونَ نَحْنُ أَنصَارُ اللَّهِ. We are the Ansar of Allah. We are the helpers of Allah. And not those Ansarullah of Brooklyn, New York, who are kafara fasaqa. That's the York and his crew, who are no longer calling themselves Ansarullah. I was on a plane recently. They are in Time magazine this month. Now they're located somewhere in Georgia where they bought a plot of land for $500,000 and they built some pyramids. And they're walking around saying that they are now Egyptians or something like that. So the Hawari is the helper. So the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said what? Every prophet has a Hawari, and my Hawari is Az-Zubair radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. In another situation, Ikhwan, when the Prophet was going to fight the battle of Bani Qurayza, the Jews of Al-Medina, and we see these examples that we're given are all connected to the jihad. Because at the time of the jihad, when we got to get down, that's when you really know where people stand. As far as the dawah is concerned, as far as Islam is concerned, it's easy to talk when things are cool and you're just chilling out. I'll do this, I'll do that. But when it's really time to show up, when it's time to get busy, that's when you really know when the people are and where they stand. And the battle of Bani Qurayza, when the Prophet ﷺ was going to deal with them, Ibn Sa'd in his book of Tabaqat al-Kubra, the Messenger of Allah sent Az-Zubair, not once, not twice, but 3 times to the place of the Jews to come back with their news by himself. 3 times. Each time he would go by himself to find out what the Yahudis are doing, come back and say, Ya Rasulullah, they're afraid. They're doing this. This is what they're saying. After that happening, The Prophet said sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to Zubair, and this didn't happen with too many people. He said to Zubair, Fidaka abi wa ummi. May my mother and my father be sacrificed for you, ya Zubair. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used to say to people sometimes, Fidaka ummi. May my mother be sacrificed for you. Or he would say, Fidaka abi. May my father be sacrificed for you. But he said for Zubair when he did this with Bani Qurayza, Fidaka ummi wa abi. May my father and my mother be sacrificed. Now, that again shows the virtues of Az-Zubair. And we told you before, Ikhwan, about the hadith in Sahih Bukhari, in which Az-Zubair was asked by the companion, Ya Zubair, come on, get up and incite us. They were making a jihad. Get up and make us go. Make us get excited to go deal with those kuffar. Az-Zubair said, it may be if I do this, you people are going to forsake me. They said, no, we're going to be behind you. Zubair got up, took his boy, put his boy on his riding beast, went into the kuffar. Came back with a group of people. He went, came back. All of the people were killed except Zubair. He went and took another group, came back. They all were killed except Zubair. Went again, came back. They all were killed except Zubair. Zubair said, let's go again. They said, we're not going with you no more. Zubair went by himself. His son Urwa from the Tabi'een, from the ulama of the Tabi'een. Urwa ibn Zubair, he said, my father was hit so many times with their spears and their sword that I used to poke holes in the womb. All of those examples, Ikhwan, are clear proofs of the rujula and the shaja'ah of Az-Zubair ibn Awam. This is the man that Ali has on the other side. On top of the fact that he's dealing with Muawiyah radiyallahu anhu, he has the muhawari of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam on the other side. He has Aisha, the wife of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, on the other side. Talha on the other side. So Ali radiallahu anhu, ikhwan, when he heard about that news, he made a tremendously strategic move that shows you the hikmah of Ali and how the ulama of Islam are. Ali said, let me send to Basra. Okay? Aisha, as Zubair and Talha were going to go to Basra to incite the people, to get support from the people, Ali said, let me send my own group of people to Basra. So he sent his son Al-Hasan ibn Ali ibn Abi Talib, and he sent Ammar ibn Yasir. When Ammar and Al-Hasan reached Basra, they found that Aisha, Az-Zubair and Talha had preceded them, and the people were preparing. The people were lending to those three their ears and their hearts. Al-Hasan and Ammar, ikhwan, came into the masjid of Al-Basra. They got on top of the minbar. Al-Hasan got on the uppermost step, and Ammar got on the step that was lower than that. So you have Al-Hasan on the top and Ammar on the bottom. And Imam al-Bukhari brings us this narration. At that time, the people began to gather around them. Here, two scholars from the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now we're getting the other side of the story. The people of Basra are saying, okay, we heard Aisha, we heard Az-Zubair and Talha. Now we're getting the other side of the coin. Let us hear what they have to say. Here's the news of the Amir al-Mu'mineen coming from Medina. And look who he sent. So the people of Al-Basra gathered around them in the masjid. Ammar began to talk. Ammar said, radiyallahu anhu, قد سارت إلى البصرة عائشة رضي الله عنها ووالله إن هذا زوجة نبيكم صلى الله عليه وسلم في الدنيا والآخرة ولكن الله تبارك وتعالى ابتلاكم ليعلم إياه تطيعون أو هي. Ammar said, verily Aisha is coming to Al-Basra. And I swear by Allah that Aisha is the wife of your Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in the dunya and the akhirah. Hiya min ahl al-jannah. I swear by Allah, she's the wife of the Messenger of Allah in the dunya and the akhirah. But verily Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, He wants to try you people with Aisha. This is an ibtila, this is a fitnah, this is an imtihan. Allah is testing you. He is trying you with Aisha to find out whether or not you obey him or you obey Aisha. We need to look at this issue, Ikhwan, and deal with it. And we have to talk about this before we even deal with the battle of Siffin. In the sending of Hassan ibn Ali ibn Abi Talib and Ammar ibn Yasir radiyallahu anhuma, in the fact that Ali sent them shows us the tremendous level of knowledge of that scholar Ali radiyallahu anhu. He was truly a statesman, a khalifa, a qadi. Number one, he sent his son Hassan. Hassan, the oldest of the two sons. They were twins, Hassan and Hussein. Hassan was the elder. He sent Hassan, who the Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that Hassan and Hussein are the two rayhans of the dunya. That they are the two beautiful smelling flowers of Rasulullah in the dunya. Shabbahahuma bil-rayhan. He's the grandson of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who was loved by the Messenger of Allah, who used to make dua to Allah. Oh Allah, love them for verily I love them. When a man like that standing up on the minbar and his position with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, how would you feel being in the audience, being against that person? Against the grandson of the Messenger of Allah on the top step? Number two, in the fact that Ali sent Hassan radiallahu anhu, he's making a tremendous statement. His statement is, look, I could have sent you people, anyone from the people of Medina, but I sent you my son to show you I'm serious. I know in sending him, he can be killed, he can be harmed. If I'm ready to sacrifice him, know for a surety I'm ready to sacrifice anyone else. I'm going to deal with you people. I don't care if it's Aisha, Az-Zubair, Talha, I'm the Khalifa. And you are supposed to obey the Khalifa. Love it who loves it, hate it who hates it. The Messenger of Allah did the same thing in the Battle of Badr. When they got ready to do the Mubaraza, it is the practice of the Arabs, before the two sides engage each other, they send out their best men. So three people from the Ansar, they went out. The people from Qur'an said, Ya Muhammad, we don't have any problem with these people from the Ansar. We got a problem with you people from Mecca, our relatives. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam sent out who? He could have sent out anyone from Mecca. He sent out the closest people from him. His uncle Hamza, Ali, he sent out serious people. So Ali radiallahu anhu, on this day, he did the same thing to the people. Ikhwan, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, one day he was sitting on the minbar in front of the companions. This is point number 3 in the hikmah of Ali in sending his son Hassan. The Messenger of Allah was standing on the minbar with his companions. He looked at the companions and then he looked at Hassan, who was on his side, a young child. He was a little boy who used to play all the time when the Prophet was praying, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when the Prophet was giving the khutbah. He would have to get off of the khutbah to pick him up, to stop him from hurting himself. So the Messenger of Allah was on the minbar. He looked at the companions and then he looked at Al-Hasan. He looked back at the companions, and then he looked again back at Hasan. He looked at the companions again, and he looked back at Hasan. And then he said to the companions, Ibni hada sayyidun, وَلَعَلَّ اللَّهِ يُصْلِحَ بِهِ بَيْنَ فِئَتَيْن مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. Al-Imam al-Bukhari brought this hadith in which he said, my son, meaning my grandson, my grandson is the sayyid. He's the leader of the people. In another hadith he said, the Hasan and Hussein are the leaders of the Shabab of Jannah. He said, my son is a sayyid, and I hope, and it may be, that Allah will bring peace between two great forces because of him, through him. Look at the prophecy. Wallahi Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's a little child, and the Prophet is saying to the people, my son right here is a sayyid, and I hope that one day, it may be, that Allah through him will bring peace between two warring factions. Ikhwan, I ask you by Allah. The people of Basra were not like us. They had knowledge. And even though the fitnah came from that area, they had knowledge of the hadith. They had ulama out there. They know about the virtues of Hassan. They know this hadith. So just imagine them in the audience looking at Hassan, knowing this hadith. This is a sayyid, and it may be that he's going to bring peace between two warring factions. So the people are looking, maybe this is what that hadith is talking about. Two warring factions, meaning Ali and Muawiyah, or Aisha and Ali. So whose side are you going to be on after hearing a hadith like that? After remembering a hadith like that? He's up there calling the people. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, ikhwan, wallahi, he gave us all of that. If we were to take it, we'll be successful. إني تركتكم على محجة البيضاء ليلها كنهارها لا يزيغ عنها إلا هالك. I've left you on the clear evidence. Its nighttime is like its day. No one will be destroyed. No one will forsake it except it will be destroyed. That's Hassan. What about Ammar? Why did Ali send Ammar radiyallahu anhu? Ammar ibn Yasir. Look at the argument of Ali ibn Abi Talib. He doesn't even have to say a word to the people. Just in sending who he sent, he's making a statement. As for Ammar radiallahu anhu, we all know that his mother and his father were killed. And they were from the first people who were killed fi sabilillah. His mother, Sumayya. Everyone knows that she was the first shaheed in al-Islam. Commonly referred to as the first shaheed in al-Islam. Wallahu a'lam. Everyone knows that. The people of Basra know that. When his mother and father were being persecuted by the kuffar, the Prophet used to pass by them while they were tied up. And their son Ammar, who was on the lower part of the minbar, was with them at one point. And the Prophet used to say to them three, radiyallahu anhum, sabran ya ali Yasir, fa inna maw'idakum al-jannah. O family of Yasir, the father of Ammar, O family of Yasir, be patient, because your reward is paradise. The people in Basra know that hadith. Here's a man whose mother and father sacrificed for Islam, and he along with them there in paradise. And Imam al-Tirmidhi brought us an authentic hadith that was given to us by Aisha, telling us the virtues of Ammar, and Aisha is on the other side. Aisha radiyallahu ta'ala anha, she said that the Prophet said sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, ما خير عمار بين أمرين إلا اختار أرشدهما. Allahu Akbar. Aisha told us that the Prophet said sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Ammar is never confronted with two choices, two options, except that he chooses the one that has the most guidance. That's who Ali said. So here's a choice, Ya Ahl al-Basra. Ammar had the choice to be with Aisha and her side, or he had the choice to be with Ali radiallahu anhu. So the people of Basra have to answer the question, what choice did Ammar choose? Because the Prophet says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, if he's given two options, he's going to choose the one that has the most guidance. And Imam al-Bukhari, Ikhwani, brought us an authentic hadith telling us about when the Prophet was building his masjid, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Pay attention to this. It's enough virtue that Ammar helped to build his masjid, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. While they were building, everyone was carrying one brick, one rock, one boulder. Ammar was carrying two. He was young and he was serious. Everyone was carrying one, Ammar was carrying two to build the masjid. Every time he put two down, that's barakah for him for building a masjid. Man bana masjidan lillah, bana Allahu lahu masjidan fil Jannah. Whoever builds a masjid for Allah, Allah builds a masjid for him in Jannah, as Uthman told us the Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ammar said, I'm going to get this reward. When the Prophet saw Ammar radiallahu anhu wa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in his effort and what he did, Ammar came to the Messenger of Allah dirty. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam started to wipe off of Ammar the dirt that had accumulated from carrying the boulders and the bricks. He said to him, وَيْحٌ يَا أَمَّارِ تَقْتُلُهُ الْفِئَةُ الْبَاغِيَةُ يَدْعُوهُ مِنَ الْجَنَّةِ وَيَدْعُونَهُ إِلَى النَّارِ قال عمار أعوذ بالله من الفتن. The Prophet wiped off the clothes of Ammar and he said, woe, woe unto you, Ya Ammar. Verily the oppressive group is going to kill him. He's going to be inviting them to the Jannah and they're going to be inviting him to the hellfire. Yeah, you're from the people of Basra and you're looking at a man who this was said about him. He's going to be inviting the people to Jannah and the other side going to be inviting him to the hellfire. Woe unto you, Ammar. You're going to be killed by the oppressive group. Yeah, that's enough dalil in and of itself that whenever the fitnah starts, look for Ammar. Be on the side that Ammar is on because he's going to get killed by the oppressive group. In this issue, from what was mentioned, the hikmah of Ali radiallahu anhu. The second point concerning this issue is, and this is what we talked about and this is what we want to emphasize to all of you, and that is, فيه دليل على أنه لا ينبغي للمسلم أن يفتتن بشخص مهما على قدره يرحمك الله بل عليه أن يعرض أعماله على الكتاب والسنة. This issue of the sending of Al-Hasan wa Ammar is a clear proof that it is not befitting for the believing man, as Salafi, al-Muslim, to allow himself to be tried by a person. No matter how good that person is in the deen, he's going to compromise his Islam and the principles of Islam. He's going to allow the haqq to be determined by a person and not allow the haqq to determine where that person is. Here's another clear proof of that, what we've been teaching. Don't connect your salafiyah to a shakhsiyah. Don't connect your salafiyah to a personality, your Islam to a person, a sheikh, a da'i, an imam, a woman, a man, a wife, a husband. Let your deen be for Allah. The haqq is known, and through the haqq we know everything else. Not we know the people and then we know the haqq. So Al-Albani, Hafidhahullah Ta'ala, he said this, so that's the haqq as Al-Albani said. La. We're in this fitnah, so Abu Usamah's opinion is this and his position is this, so that's the haqq. La. Look at this, akhi. This is what they call in Arabic and in Islam, hikmatun baligha. This is a tremendous sign from Allah Ta'ala. This incident with Al-Hasan wa Ammar. The fact that Allah Ta'ala allowed this to happen, it is a darf and an ibrah. Keep in mind, Allah allowed this to happen after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And it is a lesson. Here it is. Aisha radiallahu anha, the person in question. Don't let your deen be determined by a personality. Don't let the haqq be determined and explained by the position of a person. Aisha radiallahu anha was the most beloved person in the face of the earth to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but the haqq wasn't with her. Now if you, people of Basra, were just to look at that, oh, she's the wife of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so I'm going to be on her side. إن الله تبارك وتعالى ابتلاكم بها ليعلم. Verily Allah is trying you people with Aisha to know, do you obey Allah or do you obey Aisha? That was the meaning of Ammar's statement. So if those people weren't afforded the opportunity to follow Aisha, who was the most beloved person to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what about everyone after her? People who we don't even know who they're in Jannah or the hellfire. We don't know what people want to die upon. I don't know what you want to die upon. You don't know what I'm going to die upon. We love each other. We have good opinions of each other. We respect each other. But still, that's our point. That's our fact. We know Aisha died upon La ilaha illallah. She's in the highest part of Jannah, the uppermost part of Jannah, with the Messenger of Allah, close to him sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And yet, not permissible for anyone to take her position because of her shakhsiyah, her personality. So from the khasa'is of the da'wah al-salafiyah is the adam taqdees al-rijal. We do not make people holy. We do not make people muqaddas. We do not raise people above their station. As Al-Imam Muslim brought in his introduction, he brought that Aisha, out of all people, radiyallahu anha, she said, "Umirna an nunazzil an-nas manazilahum." We have been ordered to put the people in their proper places, where they belong. The third point of what we benefit from the statement of Aisha and that whole issue is that, we can see that Ali radiyallahu anhu, he said, Al-Hasan wa Ammar, and Al-Hasan wa Ammar were from the ulama. They weren't from the ignorant people. They weren't from the juhala, nor were they from the Hammas and Nas, just the regular people, the Tom, Dicks and Harry. They had the ability to give issues proper consideration. 1,000 hisabat. 1,000 considerations before they say what they're going to say, before they do what they're going to do. This is the action of the ulama. It's the ignorant people, the immature people during the time of the fitnah. They're the worst people you can send to talk. Let the ulama talk during the time of the fitnah. Immature people are irresponsible. There's a fitnah already. The immature person comes and he'll say a kalima that he doesn't give it any consideration. And then because of that statement, that one kalima, it puts gasoline on the fire. Look at the tasarrufat. Look at the actions of the two scholars, Ammar and Hasan. Look how they stood on the minbar. In front of the people. Their da'wah is clear. They're not away, hidden in a secret majlis. They're talking to the community to let them know, look, we're here by order of the Khalifa to guide you to the haqq. That's going to do something to the minds of the people, to the psychology of the people. People talking about Sigmund Freud and these people are the first psychiatrists and psychologists. Wallahi, we have in Al-Islam issues that deal with psychology. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam showing us the true psychology. Ammar and Hasan standing in front of the people. In front of the people like that is a statement. Just like Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu at the death of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he stood on the minbar. Could have stood anywhere in the masjid. Could have went to the Rawda, which is a garden from the gardens of paradise. He could have went to the Saf, where the people of Ahl Sufa, where they were staying. He got on that minbar. So look where they stood and how they stood, the ulama. Look who spoke. If Hassan would have spoken, maybe the people say, oh, he's just in it for his father. Ammar spoke, and he didn't mention anything about relationship, lineage, just kalimat al-haq, words of the truth. Words that no one can dispute. Knowledge, akhi, has set you free. Ikhwan, look at the insaf of the scholars. Ammar radiallahu anhu, in the time of the fitnah, he didn't let the fitnah make him or prevent him from being just. Wallahi, innaha la zawjatu rasulillah nabiyikum fi dunya wa fil akhirah. I swear by Allah, she's the messenger of Allah's wife in the dunya and the akhirah. He's talking about her virtues. Talking about the virtues. He's not going to say, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, ما تركت فتنة أضر على الرجال من أمتي من النساء. He didn't say this hadith about the fitna of the nisa. He didn't mention how Aisha did this or did that during the history of Islam. Now, he gave the one who was on the other side, the opponent, the khasam, their haqq. Whereas when we look at the fitna of the people today, the ignorant people, we don't give people their rights. We don't say the truth about people. We say the opposite about each other. We don't recognize people's actions. We're going to call somebody a deviant who's trying to practice Islam and he's making a mistake. A mubtadi' who's trying to practice Islam but he made a mistake. A kafir trying to practice Islam and he made a mistake. Because during the time of the fitna, other than the ulama, the true ulama, they allow their nafs to get involved. We allow our nafs to get involved. And as a result of that, we create bigger problems. Nas'al Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala al-afiyah wa salam. After that, ikhwan, we want to mention to you how knowledge will benefit you in the time of the fitna. Just as Al-Hasan wa Ammar radiallahu anhuma were from the ulama, and their knowledge benefited them and the other people, the bilad and the ibad, knowledge is going to benefit us in the times of the fitna. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he told us in an authentic hadith that's been collected by Imam al-Bukhari, and we say Abu Bakr and not Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr. We were asked yesterday, who is it? Who is Abu Bakr? Tell us a little bit about Abu Bakr. We used his name yesterday. His name is Nufayr ibn al-Harith. Nufayr from Nafa. Ismu Tafghir. Nufayr ibn al-Harith. He was from the people of the Ta'if. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to the people of Ta'if to give them da'wah, they threw rocks at him. And the angel came and they told him, the angel of the mountain, we'll squash these people if you want, ya Muhammad. Just give me the order. He said, I hope that Allah brings from their loins people who worship Allah Ta'ala. Anyway, Abu Bakr was from them, Nufayr ibn al-Harith. He was one of the few people who came down and supported the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam from the people of Ta'if at that time. And he came on a camel that's called a bakra. It's a particular type of camel. He came down, and the Messenger of Allah freed him because he was from the mawali of the people. He was a slave. And the Prophet freed him, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and gave him the kunya Abu Bakr, because he came on that camel. The type of camel is called a bakra. So his kunya was Abu Bakr, based upon that. He used to say, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, to the companion, أنا من إخوانكم في الدين وأنا مولى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. I am from your brother in the religion, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us. If we don't know their father's name, if we don't know them, then call him your Mawla in the religion. He said, so I'm from your brothers in the religion, and I'm the Mawla of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He was in Basra, where Ammar and Hassan were, where Aisha, Talha and Zubayr were going. He died in Basra. And when he died, he left behind his children. And his children became the Ashraf of Al-Basra. They had a lot of money and a lot of knowledge, and the people loved and obeyed them. They had power. But anyway, look at the knowledge, how Abu Bakr benefited from the knowledge, radiyallahu anhu, during the time of fitna. قال لقد نفعني الله بكلمة أيام الجمل لما بلغ النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أن فارس ملكوا ابنة كسرى قال صلى الله عليه وسلم لن يصلح قوم ولوا أمرهم امرأة. He said, verily Allah caused me to be benefited by a word that I heard from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I was benefited by this, what I heard, this knowledge, during the days of the Jamal of Aisha. And it was called the day of the Jamal, the war of the Jamal, because she was on a camel that had a lot of hair in its face. So they call it the war of the Jamal. He said, I was benefited on that day, the day of the camel, by a word I heard from the Prophet, a hadith, knowledge. When the people of Persia put the daughter of Kisra, who was a former king, when they put his daughter in charge of them, the Prophet ﷺ said, when that news came to him, a people will never be successful that allows a woman to become their leader, to be in charge of the affairs. He said, when I heard that, I understood from that, how can these people be right and the haqq be with them if Aisha is at the front of the army? They can't be on the right way. If Aisha, a woman, and the Prophet didn't make any istifna, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he didn't make any exclusions, any exceptions, a woman, Maryam's mother, Aisha, whoever, your wife, my wife. And we're going to talk about this inshallah, the hukm in Islam about a woman being in charge of the affairs. The brothers from Miami called. They're having a big problem up there because they want to challenge the brothers. We should let sisters have a voice in the masjid and so forth and so on. We're going to give a speech about that inshallah. So that's how Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, Abu Bakr benefited. Also, Ikhwan, Aisha radiallahu anha benefited from the knowledge on the day of the Jamal. Al-Imam Ahmed, as well as Ibn Hibban and other than them, Al-Imam Al-Hakim, they brought the narration of Qais ibn Abi Hazim. قال أن عائشة لما أتت على الهوأب سمعت نباح الكلاب فقالت ما أظنني إلا راجئة إن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال لنا أيتكن تبحو عليها كلاب الهوأب. قال لها الزبير ترجعين عسى الله عز وجل أن يصلح بك بين الناس. Aisha, she said, when they came to this place called Al-Hawab, there were some dogs that were barking. The army, the people who were with Aisha as they were going, they came to a place called Al-Hawab. When they got to this particular well, these dogs started barking. Aisha sat up and she said, I remember that the Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to us, his wives, any one of you who hears the dogs barking at Hawab, let her be careful. She said, I don't think I'm going to continue this trip with y'all. Ya Zubair, Ya Talha, I'm not going any further. I hear these dogs barking in here. I remember the hadith. I'm not going any further with y'all. The Prophet said that to his wife. Anyone who hears the dogs of Al-Hawab barking, be careful. Now, when the situation takes place, he remembers. As Zubair, upon hearing that, he's like, hey, we in the mix now. We way out here now. You got us out here. We all in this together. He said, are you going to turn it back? Are you going to turn around now? You going to go back now? It may be that Allah will make peace between the people because of your presence. So she continued forward. So that narration clearly shows us that she benefited from the knowledge. And number two, her niyyah was not to make fitnah. The niyyah of Aisha was to make islah, peace between the people. She heard and remembered the hadith. Now her niyyah is, man, I gotta make peace between the people based upon that authentic hadith. روى الإمام البزار عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لنسائه ليس شعري أن يتكن صاحبة الجمل الأدبب تخرج فينبعها كلاب الهوأب يقتل عن يمينها وعن يسارها قتلى كثير ثم تنجو بعدما كادت. Listen to this authentic hadith, ikhwan. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said to his wife, laysa shi'ri, that's hard to translate. Any one of you women who is going to be on a camel with a lot of hair on his face, and she goes out and she hears the dogs of Al-Hawab barking, there are going to be a group of people going to be killed on her right and killed on her left. A lot of people are going to be killed. ثُمَّ تَنْجُو بَعْدَمَا كَادَتْ, and she's going to be successful after that. Ikhwan, you have a hadith right here of the Prophet ﷺ describing what's going to happen. He's warning his wife, and then he told us, people are going to lose their lives as a result of this. And he said, the one who was on that camel, she's going to be saved after all of that. So how is Shiite going to be upset and choose this as a point of criticism of Aisha when the Prophet says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in this hadith that she's going to be saved in spite of her participation? Aisha, ikhwan, after going and participating and it was all over, Ali radiallahu anhu, he came and the haqq was with Ali and he defeated those people and he took over. He honored Aisha, put her back in her hodage, in her camel like it was, and prepared to send her back to Medina, honored. He didn't take her as a slave of war. We're going to deal with this later. She went back to Medina, sorry for what she did. She made tawbah for what she did, for the mistakes that she made. And Imam Az-Zaylai, in his book Nisf al-Raya, he brought this narration that shows Aisha's sorrow, as well as Imam al-Dhahabi. And Imam Az-Zaylai, he brought this narration in which Aisha قالت لابن عمر رضي الله عنه يا أبا عبد الرحمن ما منعك أن تنهاني عن مسيري. قال عبد الله بن عمر رأيت رجلا غلب عليك، يعني ابن الزبير. فقالت رضي الله عنها أما والله لو نهيتني ما خرجت. Aisha said, Ya Abu Abdurrahman, O son of Umar, Ya Abdullah bin Umar, why didn't you prevent me from going out? Why didn't you stop me? He said, I saw that the man overcame you. Meaning as Zubair, when he said, are you going to go back now? Maybe Allah is going to make peace with the people because of you. I saw that the man overcame you. She said, Wallahi, had you stopped me, I wouldn't have gone out ever. I would have never left. I respect your position. You're not from the people involved in the fitnah. And Imam al-Dhahabi said concerning that, إنها ندمت ندامة كلية وتابت من ذلك على أنها ما فعلت ذلك إلا متأولة قاصدة للخير كما اجتهدت طلحة ابن عبيد الله والزبير بن عوام وجماعة من الكبار رضي الله عن الجميع. Al-Imam al-Dhahabi said Aisha was sorry, totally, absolutely sorry for what she did, and she made tawbah from that, even though what she did was done as a result of her ijtihad, a ta'wil, and she was trying to bring about good, just as Talha made ijtihad, and it was Zubair made ijtihad, and the rest of the major companions made ijtihad. She was trying to get the blood of the people who killed Uthman, the Khalifa. So Ali radiallahu anhu, the truth prevailed, and that's what happened at the battle of the Camel, the battle of the Jamal. And that's from what we benefit from this issue. And tomorrow, inshaAllah ta'ala, we're going to deal with the battle of Siffin or As-Saffain. Wallahu subhanahu wa ta'ala a'la wa a'la. Do you guys, you brothers, have any questions? The brother is asking about the hadith that we mentioned about Jabir bin Abdullah that shows the superiority of Az-Zubair when the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam asked who will go and get the news of the enemy at the Ahzab. And one hadith is saying that Jabir is saying that Az-Zubair stood up and said, I'll go get it 3 times. And then he was described as being from the Hawariyin of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that he is a Hawari of the Prophet. And then in the other hadith in which he chose Hudayfa said no one wanted to get up, that we were all afraid. Which one of them is authentic? There's a principle in Usul al-Fiqh, Ikhwan, concerning the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and the incidents that happened. And that principle is i'malul hadith awla min ihmalihi. إعمال الحديث أولى من إحماله. To work with the 2 hadith, the statements of the Prophet ﷺ, to work with them, to bring them to life and to practice them, has more rights than to disregard them, to put them aside. So here, how does this principle benefit us? Should we take this hadith or that hadith? No. We should work both of them. Make both of them work for us by making the tawfiq. And there are a number of ways of making the tawfiq, and that's a good question. Jazakallahu khair ya akhi Camel. One of the ways in making the tawfiq is the narrator who told about Hudayfa. Hudayfa, when he told about that hadith, he just failed to mention a Zubair situation. And now Zubair is bringing the ziyada. So the ziyada of the thiqah is maqbula. Whenever a person with thiqah brings some additional information, his ziyada is accepted. He's a thiqah, he's reliable, he brought the ziyada. So it's maqbula. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam wa a'la. Now, ikhtisas or iqtisas. Now, ليس فيه شيء وبارك الله فيك ولله الحمد. He said first, it was mentioned in the class Ikhwan that when Aisha left Mecca, and now I remember there was a mistake when we said that the people of Basra were now listening to the other side of the story. When Al-Hassan and Ammar came, Aisha had not reached by that time, based upon the statement of Ammar, Inna Aisha sarat ilaykum, Aisha is coming to you people. So there's some ikhtilaf in that issue between the mu'arrikhin. That brother, Kamal, he said, in the beginning we mentioned that when Aisha radiallahu anha left Mecca, she left Mecca trying to get the qisas, trying to get her rights and the rights of her relatives, to get the blood of the people who killed her relatives. And then after what had happened, when she heard the barking of the dog at Al-Hawab, she changed her niyat and she went to make islah between the people. First of all, in getting the blood of her relative, she's looking for the haqq as well. But that way of getting the haqq is not going to bring about the best results, because of Ali radiallahu anhu being the Khalifa and him not wanting that. So there's nothing wrong with her making the tahweel of her niyyah after knowledge comes to her in midstream. Knowledge of the issue comes to her in midstream. And this shows the virtues of Aisha, that she made the taraja'at an-nafsiha an al-khata. She came back off of her opinion to come back to the truth. And not everyone can do that, ikhwan. That in and of itself, in this fitna, it shows her virtues. She came back to the truth and recognized the truth when knowledge came to her. And that's the way of the ulama. So there's nothing wrong when she was going out to get the blood of the people. She's looking for lahaq. She's making ijtihad. But where's the lesser of the two evils? To get the blood of the people, or to get with the Khalifa of the Muslimin? Or where's the most benefit at? Not the less of the two evils. Where's the more benefit in that issue? It's going to be to get with the Khalifa. Why? Because the Khalifa, Ali radiallahu anhu, is just like you, a relative of Uthman. He's going to deal with those people just like you want to deal with them. So your intent is going to be handled, but not the way you're doing it. So when she goes and she hears the advice of Zubair radiallahu anha, she changes her niyyah. And that's what we view her being upon at the end of it. As the statement of Al-Imam al-Zayali said, and Al-Imam al-Zahabi, that she made tawbah and she was sad based on her own statement. Ya Abdullah bin Umar, Ya Abdul Rahman, Abdul Rahman, if you would have prevented me, I wouldn't have went. Why didn't you prevent me? So she was sorry. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. Now, yeah. I have left you on the white, the clear proof, the clear thing. It's night is like it's day. It means a number of things. One is, like the hadith, that the fitna is going to come. And he described the fitna as what? كَقِطْعِ اللَّيْلِ الْمُظْلِمِ. It's like a dark night. The fitna is going to come to you people like a dark night. الْقَائِدُ فِيهَا خَيْرُ مِنَ الْمَاشِي. And he went on to say the hadith. So it means that during the time of the fitna, it's going to be taught. But if you hold on to the sunnah, night is like it's day. During that fitna, you're going to know what to do. Another meaning that the ulama فسروا هذا الحديث وحملوه عليه is that the further the people get away from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's coming, the less the Muslims are going to be strong and the less Islam is going to be prevalent. So even at that time, when a Dajjal comes way later on, right now, July 21st, 1999, if you hold on to the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, of the Muhajjat al-Bayda, it's as if you're with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that's why he says sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ummati kal-matar. لا يدرى أين الخير في أوله وآخره. My ummah is like the rain. You don't know where the good is in the rain, in the first part or the last part. A person during this time will be on the sunnah, can be on the sunnah, and he can be just like the companion. In terms of the clarity of al-Islam, distinguishing the haqq from the batil. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. But clearly the companions are better than anyone. If you were to spend the whole mountain of Uhud in gold, never would you be able to do half of what they did. As the Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam. But it goes to show that still, at this time, لا تزال طائفة من أمتي على الحق منصورا لا يضرهم من خذلهم ولا من خالفهم حتى يأتي أمر الله. There will not cease to be a group of people from my ummah, a saved group. They will be victorious, apparent on the truth. It won't hurt them, those people who forsake them, they try to trick them, or those people who are against them. They will remain in that condition until the affair of Allah comes. And that's always just going to be like that. Till Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inherits the earth and what is upon it. Naam akhi. So we have to do our best, ikhwan, حتى نكون من الطائفة المنصورة. Ikhwan, our community is not affected by this fitna as such. This fitna of the Amir, you can't have an Amir, the ulama said this is the position, this one said this one about that one, this going on. This is a time, ikhwan, where what we can do now is, we have to raise our level of knowledge, our effort. We got to be better students. No, it's not enough just to come. We have to raise and make an effort to participate more and to come to the masjid more and to make an effort. Now, Akhi, Abu Sufyan. Alaikum salam. Ammar. Well, I kind of regret now not naming Bilal Ammar. I was going to name my Bilal Ammar.
I see that he brought the elevator Aisha radiallahu anha. He brought that she was the wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in this dunya and the afterlife.
No.
And I know another authentic hadith from the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the women is going to be with the last person in the marriage. And we also know the authentic hadith about the word again. Why was this hadith in particular saying that she's going to be the wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Jannah? All the other wives, right? His wife in Jannah also?
Now, all of them are also in the paradise with him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But because she is the issue here, the other ones weren't involved. None of the other wives of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam are mentioned during the times of fitna. Aisha is the only one. So therefore it's not a need. There's no need for Ammar radiallahu anhu to mention anything about Safiya, Zainab, or anyone else. So his mentioning and designating Aisha does not negate that the rest of them are his wives in paradise. So they're going to be his wives in paradise. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. Naam ikhwan, tfaddal. You got a ملاحظة شكلية. تفضل. قدمها. Now, the brother Camel basically was encouraging you brothers, and he was saying that when he was in his country, in Tunis, he didn't have the opportunity to really sit in the halaqat of dhikr and knowledge. He was saying that the malaika come down and they are surrounding the people, us now, listening to the dhikr, listening to the ayat, listening to the dars and so forth and so on. So therefore, we noticed this when Sheikh Salim was here. There were certain people who used to get up and walk out. That used to happen mainly with the brothers from Miami. They were laying down and stuff like that. But some of them were very new in Islam. One just came from the nation and they didn't really know. So he just noticed certain brothers getting up, walking away. So he was saying that this is not from the etiquette that we should have in the majlis of knowledge. So because of the presence of the malaika and the honorable thing that's being done here, he was saying we need to pay attention to this issue. You understand, Omar? It's alright, it's alright. It's alright. No, it's alright. Any more questions, Ikhwan? نعم أخي تفضل لقمان. Yeah, there were a lot of people who were killed, but in order to say that some companions were killed, I would have to do further research to see, as the ulama did when they wrote the biographies of the companions. They would say so-and-so was killed at Badr, so-and-so was killed at Uhud, so-and-so was killed at the battle of the Camel, or this or this or that. We know based upon the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that a lot of people are going to be killed on the right and the left of the wife of his, radiyallahu anha wa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that participated in this battle. And a lot of people were going to be killed. But whether some of those people were the companions and who they were, that requires some further research. Off the top of my head, I can't answer that question. So Allahu ta'ala a'lam.
Why the reason for the dog time?
As for the dogs barking, Allah knows best. Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made that a sign. Those types of issues, Allah knows best. What's the wisdom in the dog barking? Allahu a'lam. Why did it happen at that particular place? Allahu a'lam. Why was she riding a camel that had a lot of hair on it? Allahu a'lam. Those are issues that are with Allah. Looking after them, searching for them. Sometimes it has some benefit in it, but in actuality, to know about it or to be ignorant of it is not going to harm you, insha'Allah ta'ala. It's a bigger picture. Hold up, I think Abdul Kareem got a question. Naam akhi. Now, that's a good question, Akhi. Now, concerning the minhaj, in the times of a fitna, whether it's the fitna that we're dealing with right now or any other fitna, can we make ijtihad and draw lessons from this situation? The answer is clearly these things have happened for us to take some examples from. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, إن السعيد لمن جنب الفتن إن السعيد لمن جنب الفتنة إن السعيد لمن جنب الفتن. Verily the one who will be happy is the one who stays away from the fitna. And he said it 3 times. He is the one who is really happy. So how he's going to stay away from the fitna? He's going to stay away from the fitna by looking at these situations. He's going to take the position of Abu Bakr, Nufay' ibn Harith, Muhammad ibn Maslima, Usamah ibn Zayd, Anas ibn Malik, Abdullah ibn Abbas, Hudayfa ibn al-Yaman, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, Abdullah ibn Umar radiyallahu anhum ajma'een. Those companions, because of their knowledge, for one reason or another, they stayed away from the fitna. So now this is the same situation. We make correlations, parallels. We draw parallels from what happened with these incidents to what happened right now. And can't we see, ikhwan, in these incidents that were mentioned, things happening right now that are similar? Naam akhi. So just as they say that there's no ijtihad if the nas comes. You can't make ijtihad if the nas. You have to understand that ibarah or that statement, your statement that we can't make ijtihad in the minhaj. You have to understand that statement. The meaning you can't make ijtihad in the minhaj is you can't come up with something new and make some qiyas that is batil, qiyas ma'asariq, and come up with issues that were not known. No, the minhaj is well known and it's established. You can't make ijtihad in the nas, meaning when the nas comes, you can't go and look for no qiyas or something like that. You can't come up with meanings that are foreign to what the text is saying. But you can make ijtihad in the minhaj in terms of making the qiyas with what happened over there with what happened here. You don't have to be a scholar to do so. Do we have to be a scholar to see the justice and the fairness of Ammar, and then we learn from that we should be fair in the time of fitna. So we have to make ijtihad. In the hadith of Ahban radiallahu anhu, who took a sword and that was made out of wood, literally made out of wood, as we mentioned yesterday, and we understand from that, I don't need no scholar to tell me in this issue I shouldn't participate with my weapons against the Muslims. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, break your bow, break the arrow, and break the string. It would have been enough to say break the bow, but he's telling us clearly, don't participate. So those issues, we are in a position to make ijtihad with our surface knowledge. But now comes the issue of people like Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, who was up in Basra, being forced by one of the two sides, by his position, to do something now. Does he obey or does he not obey? Now those types of ijtihads we have to ask the ulama, because now it's going to become more difficult, and that's going to come apparent to us inshallah. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ونسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى التوفيق والسداد. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك وأشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت.